As you can see, it is blowing in our direction right now. Behind me, you can see all of the thick smoke. That's where this building is, Store Express. I want to show you what has not left the scene. People, they've been here. Over on this side, people gathering on the sidewalk here, still standing by watching as firefighters are putting out hotspots and trying to figure out how this fire started. You can see they have yellow tape up here. It's been up here for a while to keep people from crossing the line. And I want you to look way up in the middle of this warehouse here. You can see the gaping hole. And this rally is called Don't Let Trump Steal the Election. And as you can see behind me, these protesters are on the move. I'm gonna walk through here. Glass was right here as well. As you can see, it's missing. They get out of their vehicle and then they grab this kit they put in the front of their car and put on an N95 mask as well as a face shield.
He injured himself constantly.
So you're not responsible for his death in any way?
Turns out that I might be. I wasn't trying to do anything like this.
Not that I know of. I mean,
what do you mean not that you know of? You either did or you didn't.
Not inappropriately.
We just moved down Beck's Run Road to show you this incredible footage. I've never seen a water main break quite like this. James Conner was back in practice yesterday, but his status is still very much up in the air for Sunday's game against the Browns. But the good news, he was out there able to do some work in a limited capacity. Selena, I hear you're a huge Hallmark fan.
Oh, and Amy.
I'm just Hallmarked out.
I am.
I have to say, I did watch a couple when I was sick 1 week, a couple weeks ago.
There you go.
I mean,
Perfect.
when you're sick and sitting home, you can see this sign posted on the door saying it was ordered closed by the Allegheny County Health Department. We were sitting in front of several of the victims' family members, holding Kleenexes, sobbing, crying, hearing the verdict. Sharon Shelton's family sat on the other side of the courtroom. We're just learning that it sounds like 3 homes on fire now, Lisa.
Yes.
A lot of us have converted our kitchen table into an office while we work from home. Problem is, our chair or our stool for that matter may be too high, causing us to slouch down over our laptop. The temperature was around 60 degrees earlier today, but I know the temperatures keep falling and we're expecting some snow, possibly New Year's Eve. Here we go, guys. This is awesome. Put your hands up. Oh my gosh. 33-year-old Shannon Edwards just announced her candidacy and says she's ready to hit the ground running. But what she didn't want to talk about, her relationship with former Congressman Tim Murphy.
I think that it's important to stand up for women and girls and have them bring their voice to the table.
The clinical forensic psychologist wants to focus on issues like mental health and the opioid epidemic. But will voters want to hear about these issues when there's something else overshadowing them? That's something else, the affair she had with former Congressman Tim Murphy. It is a question that I'm sure will come across some of the voters' minds, and to be fair to them, since you are running, what would you say to them?
I intend to remain loyal and steadfast to the people of Pittsburgh, and that I am a dedicated individual.
Murphy, who is pro-life, resigned from office in October of last year. He came under fire after reports that he urged Edwards to get an abortion during a pregnancy scare. Do you have any comment on that, as far as that essentially being what made him resign from his position?
I can't be responsible for anybody else's action, inaction, reaction to a situation. I am responsible for my action and my reaction to things.
Edwards met Murphy at Torrance State Mental Hospital. They worked on a piece of mental health legislation that passed in July 2016 and took effect that December.
We absolutely teamed up on that, and I think it was very important, and the parts that passed were wonderful.
Edwards continued to redirect questions back to her campaign when I asked her about her involvement with Murphy. Do you ever regret your relationship at all that you guys have developed over the years?
I don't think that's what we're here to talk about. I'm really excited to talk about my candidacy, though, and the platforms.
Have you spoken to Tim at all since all of this?
I think we're here to talk about my candidacy.
However, Edwards realizes that her opponents will likely use the affair against her. How do you feel like you'll handle that?
I feel like it's inappropriate, and I feel like I'm going to stay on my mission to serve the people of Pittsburgh.
And Edwards may have an uphill battle on that and actually winning the seat. If the newly redrawn Pennsylvania congressional map stands, she'd face Democrat Mike Doyle in a mostly Democratic district. She could also face Republican Rick Saccone if he wins the special election to fill Murphy's seat. Susan.
This is her car seat.
Marcia Sokolow Spitz
Sit down. Thank you. Good girl.
takes her Morky Coco almost everywhere she goes.
She's just such a good girl. She's used to traveling all the time.
Coco even flies with Marcia.
It's very calming. You know, I was never a fan of flying. And I always had my husband's hand to hold and squeeze when the takeoffs and landings or any of the turbulence.
But Marcia's late husband isn't here anymore to hold her hand, so her therapist recommended Coco become an emotional support animal to help her deal with the loss and help her fly. There are certain guidelines a licensed professional must follow when writing an ESA letter.
Only licensed healthcare providers are supposed to write these letters. I won't write a letter unless they're, one, my client, two, the animal is well trained and behaved. And in the letter, you have to state why the animal is there, what the animal does to support the client. They usually want to know some sort of diagnosis for having the animal.
The airline also requires a signature on the letter and a license number. But on March 1st, 2 airlines tightened their policy even more. United is one of them.
They have to provide confirmation that the animal has been trained to behave properly in a public setting, so they have to check that box. Additionally, we're asking that they provide us with health and vaccination records signed by the animal's veterinarian.
Delta is another airline cracking down. According to Delta's website, the airline has had customers who tried to fly with comfort turkeys, snakes, spiders, and more. They say ignoring the true intent of an ESA animal does a disservice to customers who have a real need for them. Okay, so how easy is it to fake it? I decided to see how the process works, so I logged onto a website for a company called CertaPet to see if I could get my 5-year-old cat Simba to become certified as an ESA animal. The site is one of several where a licensed medical professional will write an ESA letter for you if you pay a fee. I had to answer a bunch of questions involving my mental health, like whether I've felt down or had anxiety in the past week. I answered honestly, then paid the $149 fee. And in just a few days, I got an ESA letter in the mail, written and signed by someone named Luann Rossi. The letter says she has a license in Pennsylvania. To find out if it really worked, we booked a ticket to Miami on American Airlines, told them that Simba was an ESA animal, emailed the airline a copy of my letter, and went to the airport. Simba was in a carrier that fit under the seat in front of me. When we got to the gate, the airline attendant didn't even glance at my letter and said I was okay to fly.
What's your kitty's name? Simba.
We boarded the plane and I flew with Simba a good portion of the way on my lap, which you're allowed to do with an ESA animal. As you can see, my little guy Simba and I made it to South Beach here in Miami, and we are going to check out the sights while we're here. Simba got to experience the sand for the first time, hear the ocean waves, and do a little sightseeing. Ready to go back to Pittsburgh? On the way back, we got to our gate without any problems.
We're going to Pittsburgh.
This time, the airline attendant in Miami did look at my ESA letter before boarding, and we had an uneventful flight back home. But what about the ESA letter I got online? Should it really have been that easy for me to get one?
In our opinion, that is not a legitimate document. If a customer's medical professional has not signed off on it, then we're not going to be able to accept that document.
In fact, Ellen Friza March suggests people stay away from these types of websites.
These individuals who are writing it don't have a therapeutic relationship with the person. They don't know anything about the animal.
I think that makes it more difficult for people like myself who really have legitimate need to have an animal with them.
I reached out to the therapist who wrote my letter but never heard back. However, CertaPet did respond. They told me their therapists make decisions based on what clients tell them and assume they're being honest. They admit some people might be abusing the system and are thankful that airlines are cracking down.
Wow, it's very interesting. Simba's
Yes.
adorable. I love cats, but I'm actually allergic to them. A lot of people are. What do the airlines do about people who may have allergies?
Well, believe this, the airline said that they will try to move the person with the allergy further away from the person who's bringing their pet on board. And if for some reason that doesn't work, they will actually try to rebook them a later flight on that airline.
All right, so if Simba
were just your pet, as far as the airliner is concerned, what would it have cost to bring Simba in the cabin with you?
It would have cost $125 each way. So as you can see, $149 is a significant savings if you're flying with your pet a few times a year.
Good morning. Anything you need here. How about you? Did you get one of these? 1, 2, 3 dragons.
This is Ruth Schuster. Every day she comes to work at McDonald's in North Huntingdon, she gives it 110%. And the customers appreciate it, especially the kids.
Thank you.
Many more happy and healthy ones.
Thing is, Ruth isn't your typical McDonald's employee. She just turned 99 years old on Tuesday. And you would never guess it because of how fast she walks and how energetic she is.
Age don't mean nothing to me.
Ruth has been working here for 25 years. She got the job when she was a young 73.
I really like the job. No effort for me.
But what she loves even more than the job, that she feels appreciated for everything she does.
She can stay here as long as she's like. We enjoy every day that we have her is such a blessing.
A blessing Ruth never takes for granted. And while she loves to dance, she also loves to sing.
You are my sunshine.
Just to come down here, she makes it. She makes McDonald's here.
I'm glad I'm here.
When I asked Ruth her secret to a long life, she said,
I eat anything I want. No diets. No time to eat. When I want to eat. I like sweets. I appreciate every day.
It's that simple. Amy Wattis, KDKA News. We are walking down Center Avenue right now, heading towards downtown Pittsburgh. And as you can see, we have, I would say, 40 to 50 protesters here right now chanting, our streets, we want justice. The chants that we've been hearing all week long. Folks met over up at the Freedom Corner in the Hill District and started heading down Center. 2 of Antoine's cousins spoke right before they came down here, and they said that they want justice for their cousin Antoine Rose. One of the women holding up the sign right now with the curly hair, that's one of his cousins. She spoke over at the Freedom Corner before we left up there. We have police down at intersections blocking different intersections. There were protests all week long, Wednesday in East Pittsburgh, Thursday over on the Parkway East, then Friday night by PNC Park, Saturday night on East Carson Street in the South Side. They took a break from protesting Sunday and Monday out of respect for Antoine's family, for his viewing and funeral services, but now they're back at it again here. There is a car stuck in the water right now, and as you can see, emergency crews just got to the scene. We got here around 9:45 to do a live shot about the Steelers game tomorrow when we saw this car stuck in the water here, and thankfully we got here at the right place at the right time so we could call 911 and let them know what was going on. Excuse me, guys, is someone in there?
Amy Wattis live. This is the Bath, what's known as the Parkway Central, coming towards the North Shore.
A rescue crews just went over there, opened both of the doors that you can see here, and had a rescue boat that they were bringing with them. And it appears that no one is inside. You can see police on the other side. They're flashing lights, again, keeping a safe distance away. This has been a peaceful protest so far tonight. Let's hope it stays that way. We, again, have been here throughout the community, east of the city, Shady Side, East Liberty, now at Mount Ararat Baptist Church. So far, again, very peaceful. Of course, these protesters upset because of that not guilty verdict. They wanted justice for Antoine Rose. Well, you'll want to see this story. Over Memorial Day weekend, we introduced you to Herman Skurlong, a World War II veteran who still remembers his service vividly. Today, Herman and his family celebrated a major milestone, his 100th birthday. You don't have to wait in a long line. As women, I think we think about that a lot because there's always long lines in the women's bathroom.
Kudos to that woman for speaking up and saying something, because you never know how somebody's going to react in that situation.
Oh, I know. As protests continue around the country, Breonna Taylor's family says they are not giving up in their fight for justice following her death back in March. The emergency room at Elwood City Medical Center is shut down this morning. The Pennsylvania Department of Health imposed closures after a visit to the facility this week. Well, for those answers, let's head on over to Ron Smiley to see. I know it's going to be a beautiful day today, right?